Hello ladies and gentlemen, as always I'm your host Airsoft Al, and welcome to of course an update on a little project I'm kind of working on with my buddy Ben over at BS Customs. His YouTube channel will be linked at the end of the video and of course down below. But either way though, ladies and gentlemen, here today I'm talking about the base gun and of course plans for the base gun for the Wasteland Rifle project, or at least the Wasteland Rifle kit, or at least in this case the service rifle kit that we're doing. The gun in question is this. This is an amalgamation of parts. The gearbox itself is based off a JG M16 gearbox of E2, so yeah, it's going to have the large Tamiya connector until I can get an adapter for large to small Tamiya connectors, so I can actually do this. It has a MOSFET already on there, so that's kind of nice. Putting that back over here. The upper, as you can see here, is polymer, obviously. That's because it is a SEMA upper from the SEMA M16A1. That was, of course, the base gun for the Magpul PTS M16A1 project, but sadly the lower broke, and that kind of sucked a little bit because that was actually a really nice gun, actually really good, and a lot of the parts have been kind of spread across other project guns. One of the biggest ones, obviously, is my Magpul PTS M4, but the barrel itself has been retained on the JG upper here, which has that lovely little bit right there. The sad thing, though, is if I wanted to swap the barrel over to this, I'd have to completely undo the uppers and swap out the linking lugs that actually connect the barrels, because this one has a standard screw, while this one is wonky at best. I will see if Magpul actually does fit on this, but do know now that this is a JG barrel, outer barrel with the triangular front sight with the JG locking system on here, or at least the standard screw style for locking down barrels. It's interesting to say the least, I'm not going to lie to you folks. Now, the lower here is actually an old school, if for a lot of you who are old school airsofters will recognize this, the lower is a Matrix Tactical Systems lower. This, of course, is for the PTE. The whole thing right there, I'm going to somewhat keep it on. I went with the two-tone color, where you have the darker upper, you have the lighter lower. I went with that two-tone system because, again, one of those things. The big thing is that the triangular handguard that we're going to be working with, that is going to thankfully work on this, because the round handguard on here, the A2, A3 handguard, has the triangular front end there. But as stated before, it is a little bit wonky in terms of the barrel, because that right there. Oh boy. That just happened right there. There is no anything really to lock this down into place at all. This is all, yeah, and this is the actual outer barrel right here, and it has these nice little wings on there, which is, oh, so fun. I am going to try and take this barrel off and see if I can't friction fit on another locking lug here to see if I can't put that, you know, so I have a delta ring on there for the other attachments. The big reason why is because this, sadly enough, the back here, that's sort of the back, that's sort of the what we're dealing with, as well as the front end here. That's more or less what we're dealing with. And I hate that, because I really do wish JG didn't do this, but again, I don't know if that will work with delta rings or not. Again, I don't know, because it's designed for those little wings on the end of the barrel. So that's sort of the first thing we're doing, or I'm doing, to try and make this a little bit better. But the big thing is that, unlike the other ones where it has like a large op rod that goes from here to here, this one does not have an op rod. Instead, it has a screw that holds the end here in place, and the end is, thankfully enough, metal. Thankfully enough, not polymer. The end cap here is also metal. Let me try and lock this back into place. Now, you're probably seeing this right here. This, sad to say, is what happens when I don't have a butt screw to go through it. Instead, I had to drill holes in it and put the screws through, which does kind of give it the nice apocalyptic style look to it, and improvised look, but one of those things. I will be swapping out this buttstock, however, which is a tactical buttstock where you can put a quick detached sling through it, for a full-on solid buttstock, which will be what's going on here. Hopefully enough, Ben up there in New York will be able to find a buttstock screw to be able to go for the entire length of this. so that way I can use that instead of actually trying to use the screws through the actual metal. Again, one of those things of hoping, but I'm not holding my breath for. Now, another bit you probably noticed would be the magazine and the bolt and the dust cover being a nice sort of gray. I did that on purpose because I wanted to go with the classic look that you would see in-game, or at least that sort of old-school metal look for some of the bolts and magazines, because, I don't know why, I just love the look of these things being the way they are. I just always have. And the bolt itself, as well as the dust cover, do still work. Pulling that, and sadly the return spring is a little weak, so yeah, that's going to be a fun thing, but I'm not going to be adjusting it as that much. The rotary style hop-up we have in here is a rotor style hop-up with a Elite Force bucking, or at least an Elite Force hop-up and bucking in there, with a standard brass barrel. So, you know, there's that. Pushing that forward so it's all the way in. Again, I'm not going to be opening this up all the time and adjusting for it, only for when I actually have the correct weight BBs, and I get more BBs in to be able to use .25s at a great thing, but again, one of those things. This is starting to look like the Escape from New York gun, honestly. Those ARs that didn't have the, yeah. And more or less, though, the big thing I'm wanting to do with this is that I'm going to try and, after I get the parts on here, of course, the kit parts, which is basically just the painted up faux wood parts, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to not replace this, which has a birdcage flash hider. I looked in the game, and that's what's on the end of the service rifle. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to put a Type 4 air barrel in here. I'm going to keep the motor I do have on here because this is the motor for the Elite Force M4. I am going to put a flat hop. Well, not really going to mess with the hop-up all that much because the hop-up in there is already as good as it is. I am going to buy more of the mid-caps, though, instead of this high cap. I'm going to buy more of these 20-round mid-caps so I can actually use it like a service rifle. I'm going to primarily use it in semi-auto because, again, in-game, that's what it is. It is semi-auto in-game. I know full auto is probably everyone's forte. You want me to go full auto madness, but, again, I'm not going to. Now, the big thing is a adapter to make it so it's large to small Tamiya. Again, just one of those things of I'm wanting to do, be able to do, try and do to make this a little more usable. I don't want to really swap out the gearbox all that much because trying to get the gearbox, because I did have a version 2 gearbox that would accept small Tamiya, but sadly that has been fried, and that was the Elite Force M4 CQB gearbox, which almost caused an electrical fire. Either way, though, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to say, and yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, the Commands Airsofter, who shows off the base gun for a kit that will hopefully be on the market very soon, or at least be open and available to do once I actually get it in. And if you guys like the base gun itself, or at least have an M16, or at least love the M16, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys have some suggestions to make this that much more Mojave lovin', let me know in the comment section down below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airsoft Al, and I will see all you lovely people in the next video. Till next time. Later.